Okay, hello again, everyone. This is grade 7, module 5, lesson 3, and we're dealing with chance experiments with equally likely outcomes. And this first question is very similar to the sample question or homework question number 1. So it says for the following chance experiments, list the sample space. So in the summary, we saw that the sample space was all the possible outcomes that we can have. So question A says we're rolling a six-sided die with numbers 1 through 6 on the face of the die. Well, what can we get? Well, we can either get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. So those are the 6 possible outcomes that we can have. So that's our sample space. What if we select a letter from the word lesson? We want to think about the letters that we can possibly choose. Well, we can either get an L, we can pick an E, we can pick an S. I don't need to write this second S because I already wrote an S right here. We can also have an O or we can have an N. And finally, question C says, what if we're selecting a marble from a bag containing 20 red marbles and 10 blue marbles? What is our sample space? Well, what can we get? We can either pick out a red marble or we can pick out a blue marble. Okay, so we can pick out either a red or a blue marble. It doesn't matter that there's 20 more red marbles than blue. We just want to think about what can we possibly pick out. Okay. For question 2, though, this is like the homework question number 2. Here it says, for each of the following, decide if the two outcomes are equally likely to occur and give your reasons. So in this case, we want to think about the term equally likely. And we saw that equally likely meant they had the same number, basically, of outcomes that would satisfy that condition. So part A says rolling an even number or an odd number when a six-sided die with numbers 1 through 6 on the faces is rolled. So let's think about our even numbers. We can get either a 2, a 4, or a 6. Let's think about our odd numbers. Odd numbers, we can get either a 1, a 3, or a 5. So there's 3 ways we can get an odd number. There are 3 ways we can get an even number. So are there the same number of outcomes that will satisfy each? In this case, I would say yes, there are. So in this case, yes, they are equally likely. Right? They are equally likely because there are 3 ways to get each. There are 3 ways to get each. Right. So there's 3 ways to get odd numbers. There's 3 ways we can get even numbers. So there's 3 ways to get each. Question B says selecting a letter from the L or N from the word lesson. Well, if you'll notice that there's only one L in here. There's only one N in here, right? So again, I would say yes, they are equally likely. So we'll say yes, they are equally, oops, we'll type it in here. There we go. We'll say yes, that's a little too big right there. We'll say yes, they are equally likely. They are equally, oops, spelled equally wrong, that's all right. They are equally likely because there is one L, there's only one L and only one N. Okay, so yes, they're equally likely because there's only one L and there's only one N. Okay. And finally, question C says selecting a red marble or a blue marble from a bag containing 20 red and 10 blue marbles. So let's think, are they the same number? Remember we said that equally likely meant that they're the same number. So do we have the same number of blue and red marbles in this case? Well, yeah, clearly we don't, right? We have 20 red marbles and 10 blue marbles, right? So in this case, I would say no. No, they are not equally likely. Why? Because there are more red than blue marbles. There are more red than blue marbles. there are more red